concept of God is, obviously perceived and understood in different ways by different people. And even if you think about it in a religious perspective, of course, there's so many religions in the world that define God in different ways and create, rules and morals and objectives and how to live this life. But if you boil it down to the fact that God, that source, that bigger being that is, interconnecting all of us, that's how I see God. And I'm so grateful to my parents for instilling in me a sense of that understanding that there's an entity, there's something bigger than me that I can tap into to be a better person, to gain understanding, to find refuge. And a lot of times, growing up, like being in nature and being by the ocean has always been that place where I feel the most connected to God. And I think it's because nature is so perfect. Nature, the way things work in the natural world, all works hand in hand and all works just as it's supposed to. I think sometimes it's just that as humans, we tend to think that we can change these things or manipulate systems into ways that are more beneficial for us, but in turn, it's actually not. At the end of the day, we are one with nature, no matter how far we try to separate ourselves. And so when I think about that, I also think about how sometimes we think we're separate from God. And I think that God, again, is that source that connects us all together as one. And there's a great Bible verse that I love that was told to me by one of my family members who I really respect and love so much. Someone who, in the worldly sense would be considered very successful. And at the time, I wasn't very happy about the fact that she was repeating this to me because there was like a level of misunderstanding between us in different ways, But the Bible verse is basically Proverbs 4:7, and it just says, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and above all else, get an understanding, even if it may cost you everything. And when I was hearing that from her, like, I didn't want to hear that, because it's just like, what is wisdom? What is understanding? And how do I get it? And this doesn't make sense to me. But now, over the years, as I've marinated on that, it makes total sense, right? If you really want to be wise, you have to tap into something bigger than yourself. You have to tap in and look for deeper meaning. And if you have something that you want to share with the world, if you have a message, if you have whatever your mission may be, you have to understand it first before you can start, going out there and doing and spreading that message. And so, yeah, I think my relationship with the God that I know has always been that place where I can get an understanding, where I can get wisdom. And of course, I don't know everything. Nobody does. There's so much to know in the world. But I hope that every day that I live and that I'm here in physical form on this planet, that I can get that wisdom. And I know that the source that I get it from is God.